Our 6th Gen 4Runner is currently up for grabs, and I want to give you guys a full tour of the Westcott Designs factory, which is where this rig was built and where most of the parts on this amazing rig was built. Jeff himself gives us a full tour. He gives us the backstory. He shows us the love and care that goes into all the parts and all the unique details that make them the best off-road manufacturer in the business. It's loud, it's raw, it's uncut, there's tons of little behind the scenes stories, but we wanted to give you guys a real and transparent look at how rigs like this are made and where the parts come from. So guys, check out this full tour of the Westcott Designs factory hosted by Jeff Westcott himself. I hope you guys enjoy it.
All right, so we're here, Steve's here. We'd like to show you around, just kind of show you how we got started here at Westcott and where we were and where we're at now. So obviously this is our lobby. We started a year before COVID. And then COVID hit, and it was one of those kind of things we weren't sure if we were gonna make it or not, or how things were gonna go. But during COVID, we were very fortunate. It was very busy for us. And we had this side where the ceiling is up here. It was a wall right here, and we did not have that side at all. And people would sit over here with their masks on, some with, some without, and we worked away. So there was only 3 of us at the time when we started.
Yeah.
I was the only one working on cars at the time. And then there was my wife's office back here in the corner. She did all the accounting and stuff. And then there was Josh, our engineer, which he was over in the corner here. And then this office right behind me, I would call it my office. I really wasn't in it because I spent all my time out in the shop, and that's kind of how it still goes today. So this is where it all started. I mean, this is kind of like, tells the story. I had this truck back in 17 that I built for SEMA, and I've always had a passion for vehicles and always had a love for, cars, trucks, everything. And so we built this truck back then, and it was featured there with Rockford Fosgate back at the 17 SEMA. This was a limited Sequoia that we put a whole front clip of a Tundra on. We cut the bed sides or the sides out of a Tundra bed sides. Frenched these in here to make our own version, as we thought, as a TRD Pro. And who would have thought that they actually came out of the TRD Pro in 2019 from the factory, but that came out. I don't know if it was anything to do with that or not, but it's kind of cool. This was our first hitch rack that we did with Rigid Industries, and we've had a partnership with them almost since the get-go. And so they had that there. We used their truck for photographs, and that was the first one we actually sold to the public. So it was kind of cool. And then we don't actually even do these racks anymore, but that was the part that got me to leave Toyota to go do something on my own, to think that it would have led into where it's at now. I would have never, ever imagined it. So.
Well, and that's the thing that struck me is unique about you guys, is that you're not just a build shop, you make stuff here. You custom make things, you have a production process, and it's all right here on site, right?
Yeah, so we started like doing fabrication and custom work, and then it got into where it had to be pretty much mainstreamed for production, because we realized that just fabrication stuff isn't enough to keep the doors open. And the type of people that would buy that, or they'd be like, it's more than I wanted to spend or whatever. So now it's pretty streamlined, and we'll walk you through the whole process and everything. So cool. Come on back. So. Now, this is no longer our office for our product development. This is now our media room. And we've got Chris here, and some may know this guy here. This is TRD John. This is his second home, away from home. We bring him in once in a while when we want to look like we know what we're doing.
And so, he stands and looks pretty in front of the rigs, and he's a paid model.
And these guys are actually probably texting each other right now, back and forth, without showing facial expressions to each other. So they're trying to guess him if he's serious or not, kind of a situation. But yeah, this is our media room in here. So here again, first shop. This shop had all of our manufacturing products in it as well, so it was very, very tight in here. There was times at night we would have cars pulled all the way up the doors and have to like jump over the bumper or crawl underneath the bumper to get up into the offices.
Crazy.
But that's just so we had enough room to get the cars in our shops. And then gradually just continued to build up materials, equipment, and finally outgrew this place. But this has been the foundation right here is where it started.
That's the entrepreneur story. You start small and you just hustle your way up, and next thing you know, you got
I mean,
All
seriously,
this.
when we started, we didn't even have enough money to buy a lift.
Yep.
So we literally started on jack stands. And then we bought our first lift, and we bought our second lift, and it just...
How many lifts now?
We have 9 lifts total.
9 lifts.
So 9 lifts. And then our first piece of big equipment was our tire machine, because I used to run the tires back and forth to Discount Tire to Mountain Balance every day. And I have the cars all sit out here on jack stands. And I mean, you look at like, things are complicated now. I think in some ways things were more complicated then. But it's like there's always new hurdles and other obstacles as you add space, you add employees, you add equipment and stuff like that. It's how you handle them every day.
I think you have to love problem solving to be an entrepreneur and be in business. It's a very different thing, but you know, we were a small nonprofit. We had no supporters, no followers, no donors, nothing 2.5 years ago. And now we've, you know, put $3 million towards a clinical trial, but every new milestone, it's, all right, well, we got past that, but now this is the new challenge. This is how we're gonna solve this, and this is how we're gonna get past that. And it's the same story for you guys. It's like you got past one problem, but then a new one comes up. You're constantly problem solving, you're constantly growing, constantly evolving, and that's how you grow and survive.
It is. It's like one of those things, there's everything, the next day is a new challenge.
Yep.
And it's something.
And you love it, I can tell.
I do love it. Because I love challenges,
and
I love to figure out how we're going to get there.
Yep.
And it's like, sky's the limit, and it's just how you navigate it. And it really is. Yep. You say, hey, we did this much last year, we did this much the year before. What can we do this year? What can we do next year?
Yep.
You know, and that's always been kind of the thing. My wife and I are extremely driven.
Yep.
I know she's never the face of the business because she's behind the scenes doing all the accounting and keeping all the money in the bank and trying to be responsible so I don't spend it all or overdo things and stuff like that. But we make an amazing team. She does really good at what she does. Yep. And I won't say I do really good at what I do because I'm kind of all over, but I try to push it in the right direction every day.
Yep.
So,
awesome. Yeah. So, it's amazing what you build. I can't wait to see the rest of it here.
Let me walk you through the shop and then walk you on over to manufacturing. So now we're walking into manufacturing. Obviously, we got to wear our eye protection. Got to follow the rules. But this is the back of manufacturing. You can hear there's some stuff going on over here. The lasers are running here. There's another laser running over here. And so we'll walk through and just kind of show you everything kind of works its way to the back, and from here it heads over to powder coat. So
I didn't know this when I first started learning about you, but I'm blown away that all this is made here, which is really awesome because we love to support local brands, made in the USA. And then I already liked what you guys were doing, and then I found out it's made right here, like made in the USA company. It's amazing.
For us, when we make our stuff, we want to be able to touch it all the way through the process.
Yep.
We want to make sure that the quality is at the level that we want it to be. We did. When we started out, we had a company in California cutting our parts. We had a few guys welding for us. But then we wanted to make changes on the fly, and we wanted to add things on the fly, and we weren't able to do that because we didn't build everything in-house. And over the course of the last 6 years, we've literally brought everything in-house. The only thing we don't make is we actually don't make our tubing, we don't make our aluminum, we don't make our bolts, and we don't make our crossbars. Yep. Not to say that maybe it wouldn't happen one day, but financially it doesn't make sense for us. It's better to do it the process we do. Yep. But we're able to control that process all the way to the finish line.
And that's why it comes out so precise, so perfect, and you can see the quality on the builds, like we showed with the GX and everything. It's just very clean, very professional, and there's no other way you could get that if you didn't control the process.
Yeah. And I'll show you some things that, maybe some behind the scene things that some people might say, gosh, I had no idea about that. And I didn't know that you take these steps that other companies don't take to make your products. Yeah. And I know it takes us more time and it costs more money, but at the end of the day, I always tell everybody, it's not about how much money you're making, it's knowing that you're building the best product on the marketplace to make sure that when that consumer gets it, then there's never a doubt in their head, would I make the right decision on what I was buying? Yeah.
So awesome. Can't wait to see it.
So both the lasers here are running on both sides. This one's fully automated. It runs until it runs out of metal. And you can see all the metal stacked up on the top up here. And you can see that it's doing bottle openers down here right now.
Yep.
So it'll run until it runs out of material, and then it'll stop. So it'll run 24 hours, basically, as long as we have it. So one of the things I'll tell you, for us, and it's not just from us, from our standpoint, it's our welders. They will not weld anything that's dirty, that's not clean. that is not going to give them the best weld every single time, which I understand. They are very prideful on what they do every single time, and they want to make sure that the stuff that's leaving their bench when they're done welding is the best it could be. So
I think one of the things that's like a staple of your Instagram account is every day I see somebody posting about the Westcott welds, and the beads are perfect.
Yeah.
It's just like one of my favorite things every single day. And it's not you guys posting, it's somebody else, like a third party. They get their product, they're like, check out the Westcott weld. It's like the staple.
And it is. It is really one of the things about our, to be honest, it probably makes us the least amount of money, and it's the biggest headache out of everything. And when I say that, it's because there's 14 full-time welders over in the welding area. It's the biggest part of the payroll for the company. And then trying to groom through these guys to come in and work for us as welders at top tier. We must interview 30 guys every single month, and maybe one of them makes it. And a lot of times none of them make it because they say, oh, I'm a welder. Just because you're a welder doesn't mean you can come work at our company. And I'm not trying to hurt someone's feelings, but from the level of quality that we're looking for, it's really hard to find that in today's world.
You have standards, you gotta meet it.
Standards, it's crazy. So tubing comes in like this. It comes with a coating on it to protect it. It's got oils in it. And it's to protect it so it doesn't rust when it sits outside or it shits or whatever. My guys will not weld a piece of tubing like that. We take every piece of tubing, we run it through this polishing system, and we polish the outside of every piece of tubing before we even cut it in our laser over here.
Wow.
The other thing about it is we have to actually clean the inside out, because as you add heat to that weld, what happens is those oils try to come out through the pores on the tubing to the outside, which then that contaminates the weld. And a lot of people say, oh, my weld's not going to be as strong unless I do that. And those are some of the things that our guys know, that they want the weld to be the best that it possibly can, and they take those extra steps to make sure that the inside of the tubing, when they weld it together, is there and not have to worry about it.
I wouldn't know that. I'm a consumer. I wouldn't know the difference. You could show me two welds. I wouldn't know. But you know, and that's why it's the best. And those are, knowing that there's a company taking steps that the consumer won't see, the consumer won't know about, you're just doing it because it's the right thing, that's really one of those things that just makes it so unique that you don't see that everywhere. Because people will cut corners everywhere they can.
They do. And I'll tell you, a lot of guys say, oh, well, we clean our tubing before we weld it. And then what they do is they clean around the area they're going to weld, but when they're cleaning around that area they're going to weld, the contaminants that are still on the tubing are going to pull themselves, because the heat, they're going to pull themselves, the oils, back into that weld. And now it's still getting contamination. Is it better? Yes. Is it the right way? No. Is it quicker? Yes. But at the end of the day, to make it right is to clean the tube 100% from start to finish, from one end to the other.
That's awesome. I love it.
Let me show you some of the stuff. As we're walking our way into the welding department, so I can show you some stuff, here again, this is a sander.
Okay.
We sand every piece of flat material on both sides, no matter what. Whether it's getting welded or it's not getting welded, whether it's roof rack sides or not, we sand both sides. And the reason for that is because we want to make sure that those sides are as nice to finish as they're going to be. Whether we're going to sandblast them after that and we're going to powder coat them. It's just we don't want any of that to show through the finish on any of our products.
Yeah, and I've seen products that you can tell that don't have that, and it stands out. And you feel it too. Like when you're working with a molly panel, you're racking something up. You're getting ready for your trip. If it's got sharp edges and it's rough.
And that's it. We want to make sure all the edges are really so that nice, as done nice as we possibly can make them. So our press brake, so stuff moves over to here, and then it's all lined up here to be bent. And if you can see, there's a light across here, and that light is for two things. It's one for safety, and for two to make sure that the bend is precision. That making sure that our bends are down to exactly what we want within the thou of what we want them bent. So when we butt them up to where they're supposed to be, that by the drawings and by our fixtures, that everything fits in exactly the way we want it to.
Amazing.
Yeah. And as we go through here, these are all parts of assemblies to help these guys to make their job go a lot smoother, for them to be effective.
Grab the parts, get to work.
Grab parts, exactly. All of our tubing bins here, they're loaded every day with the tubing. And that's so they have all the things they need for the thing. Now let me show you something. So you can see, the inside of this tubing still has the oil substance in it. It has not been cleaned out yet. So these will go through another process and get cleaned out.
Yep.
But I want to show you, these came off the laser. The edging on it's extremely nice. Now when I take this thing, and you can see we've polished the outside. When I take this and I put this up to there, you can see the edging all the way around the tubing is exactly the same. So when we add weld onto this and we add heat to this, that means that we've added the same amount of heat all the way around it. So the nice thing about that is, and then we've added the weld, we're using the same amount of weld all the way around because all surface areas are the same. That now the strength on this is even because it doesn't have one spot that's more brittle than another. And when I put force on this, it has the same amount of force applied into that tube all the way around. But some of the things that people don't think about when we're doing these things, and everything fits up precisely.
My OCD is very happy right now. Seeing how precise that is and how it fits up.
I mean,
yeah.
It is. And you know what? It goes a long ways for these guys.
Yeah.
Because if they're going to weld something, they want to make sure that the part going together goes together the right way when they're welding it too.
Well, and it just standardizes it too. They can just plan to do the same weld all the way around. This piece isn't different from that one. They don't have to weld it differently. It just makes things work better and cleaner and get it through the process.
We're one of the only companies in the country that actually offer TIG welded rock sliders. And the reason we do that is more or less to show off.
Yeah.
And I mean, it is. It's kind of a show off deal because it's not cost effective.
Yeah.
It doesn't do anything. Is it a little bit stronger? Do they weld the trophy trucks that way? Absolutely. They TIG weld them and they double pass them to make them that much stronger. But the cost difference between the two doesn't justify the two products, whether you got a TIG weld or a MIG weld. Most all rock sliders out there are MIG welded in today's world because they can do a set of TIG weld or MIG welded rock sliders in 2.5 hours. It takes us 7.5 hours to weld a set of TIG welded rock sliders.
So a pair of rock sliders that's TIG welded goes on your truck. Somebody sat there and they basically spent their entire day making your rock sliders.
It takes them all day to build the set from start to finish, if that's the way, if they order a set of TIG welded rock sliders. That's with maybe taking their morning break, taking their lunch hour, and at the end of the day, they finish a set of rock sliders.
That's awesome. I mean, like, if you think, I mean, you go look at like our fundraiser builds, we have these, you know, like you look at that, somebody spent their day making sure this was done right. That was one day of their work, one day of their life went into making sure this was done right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is. And then you can see all the fixturing over here. So we don't just weld rock sliders on the bench. They're all going to fixtures to make sure when they're heated and cooled that they don't bend and move. And so it helps us keep super consistent when we're making these rock sliders. So we don't have, like, when you lay down or you lay it on a flat surface, it's a little wonky and stuff like that. We've seen tons of it. And I have to bite my tongue all the time because it's like, why? If you're not gonna do something right, then don't do it at all. And that's been the whole model behind the whole company, is if it's not done right, then we're not doing it. So
it shows.
We'll look over here. So these are a set of MIG welded rock sliders.
Yep.
And you can see just how nice, even just on a MIG welded rock slider, they look. And a lot of companies, they don't spend so much time focusing on this stuff, but we do, because some people will receive these raw, and some people will receive them powder coat. We just want to make sure that when they receive them, that the dimes are stacked super consistent, they look super clean, super good from start to finish, and at the end of the day, when they get them, they're happier now than they were when they ordered them. They said, you know what? I'm happy I waited for those. That was worth the wait. I don't ever want someone to get something and be like, it's not as nice as I thought it would be. It's not what I expected.
Right.
We want to exceed their expectations on all that stuff. So you can see we've set up this welding area throughout here. They all specialize in a different area, and what they do here, the guys that are right here, they tend to MIG weld. Let's walk over, let's see if I can show you some of the fine TIG welds that we talked about. Let's walk around the corner over here. Okay, I found one. He's mounting it to the fixtures. This is an outer for a 4Runner. So just look at how the beads are laid down. Look at how the end cap is welded. Look at how all the beads are laid down on this. I mean, the finish work is crazy.
That is crazy. It is so clean.
I mean, so clean. These guys do such a great job in everything they do when they do it. They do it with all their heart. And that, at the end of the day, Jessica and I do this business with all of our heart.
Yep, you guys do.
We appreciate them doing it with all their heart. They're very prideful. Sometimes there'll be a little bit of a conflict between someone because one thinks he welds better than the other, and I like it because that is competitive.
Yeah, well, when you get Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen and all the guys on the same team, they're going to butt heads a little bit, but they're still the all-star team.
They do. This is the all-star team back here for sure. And here's another one right here. He's got another 4runner rock slider welded up here. So, and just really, really nice.
So cool.
Yeah, so.
Love it.
Let's see that.
Amazing.
Thanks, Blake. Thank you. So, we'll head up into the front of the building here.
Okay.
This is engineering in the front up here. Okay. So there's a couple engineers here. There's a couple engineers down in our CNC shop. We'll see if they're at their desk. So this is engineering in here. This is our newest engineer over here. This is Donnie. Donnie's been welding for a lot of years. And Donnie decided that he wanted to get into CAD. And so he went to school. And now he's doing CAD. He's concentrating very hard. I think his eyes look like they're getting strained right now, so I can tell he's working on something great. And then Josh over here. Josh has been with us all the way since we started. We talked Josh into coming to work here. We bought him a sub at a sub sandwich place, and I wasn't sure that that was going to work, but it worked, and he's been here ever since. So he's been here with us for over 6 years.
That's amazing.
So he was #1 employee.
Well,
so
that's
I'm
a
still
test.
#1 employee.
We'll talk about that when we leave the room.
And then you can watch it on YouTube later.
Yeah, right. So great guys here, and you can see other projects and other things we're working out here, and testing and seeing if it works and seeing if we're happy with it, and just how everything goes. And welding rod here, you know, just some different assemblies and stuff that we're testing, and we're just not quite there yet, or we've decided to make some changes. So now let's walk our way down to the CNC shop and then continue on to some of the other buildings. I don't want anybody to come work here for our company and not be happy with what they do. Drive to work every day and say, I wish I was doing something else. Yep. We want them to be happy where they're at. We want more people to be like, wow, I love what the Westcotts believe in. I love what the Westcotts eat and breathe, and I want to be a part of that. And so it's great. So now we're in the CNC shop. You can hear them running in the back. This is our CNC engineering office over here. We've got another one at the end of the hallway down here. He's actually off today. But yeah, we do all of our programming, all of our design work over here for the aluminum CNC shop. So we'll walk in the back here. It will get a little noisy. So this CNC shop, so when Jessica and I started, there again, we didn't even have one CNC machine.
Yeah.
We didn't. And so it's really cool that we had every 6 months we've added a new machine and continued growth here in the shop. So we have, this machine's down right now. This is probably our most problematic machine. We bought all of the machines brand new, but the thing is doing proper maintenance on them. And they're doing some maintenance on this one to make sure that the tolerances are correct.
Yep.
And for us, our tolerances, people say, oh, your tolerances are off. I said, I will tell you this, most likely our tolerances are not off, they're within what our specifications are. Most likely, if you measure the part that you're going to use our part with, the tolerances are off on that other part. And we see that all the time.
Yeah.
People, because we're a small company, they accuse us of, because we're a small company, they think that it's our company that's off, and really when we go and measure some of those parts, or they measure those parts, they realize that it's not us, it's the parts that they're using it with. So, but yeah, we try to keep everything within 1,000s. We mic everything, we test it, we also test it before it actually goes in the box. But we test every 5 that come out of the machines.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And did you know that one of our other big partner brands, they have shop dogs also.
Yeah.
And that's the mark of a good brand. If you allow shop dogs, you're good to go.
Yeah. Well, this dog here has been here now for about a year, and she has a big bark, but she's a baby, and she likes to play tough, and she loves to play. That's all why she barks, is she wants someone to play with her.
Yeah. Well, she's at all the rigs and roasts. I love her. She's so much personality.
Yeah. So just to show you, so our part starts out as a solid piece of stock aluminum here. Okay.
Yep.
It goes through the first op. Now it hollows out the inside. It machines the one side. Then it goes back in the machine. And then what happens is it grabs it from the inside here, and then it goes into the outside, and then cuts all the parts out of it. So, unfortunately, yes, there's a lot of wasted material.
Yeah.
But in order for us to do the products the way we want them done, precision and quality and as strong as they possibly can, that's what we have to start with. And that's, at the end of the day, yes, does it take more time to make them? Absolutely.
Yep.
Is the outcome much better? Absolutely. But for us, again, we talked about it again. It's not about the profit, it's about building the best product the market has to offer. I can tell you this, there's nobody that has products quite to the level that we do. We can make them with straight sides, we can make them with square edges, and we round them off, and we make them in a piece of artwork. At the end of the day, that's what they become, is a piece of artwork.
I mean, the thing I've learned from following you guys and being around the industry now is, like, for people who actually off-road, who want to use their rigs like in the way they're meant to be used, they buy your guys' stuff because they know it'll hold up. Like, if you're putting a preload collar lift on, that, you know, it's got to be able to hold up to the off-roading. It's got to be able to stand up to the things. The sliders, they got to actually be able to be used as sliders, not just because they look good. So that the people who actually use their rigs, that's why they go to your stuff, because they know that.
And some people are like, oh, why aren't you out with this? Why aren't you out with this yet? And it's because we're in the process, we're working on stuff. But the thing is that we probably have not done all the testing that we want to make sure that we are comfortable with releasing that product to the public.
It's not about being the first.
It isn't.
No.
In some ways it is about being the first, but it isn't always best to be the first.
Yeah.
It's best to make the best product and know that when your customer gets it's the safest product on the market. I mean, we took our new 6th Gen 4Runner, we put our preload collar in it, we did 1,100 and something miles down in Baja, Mexico, down in San Felipe, and I'm telling you, we did not go easy on this thing. We sent this thing so hard that, I mean, if I can repowder coat the shocks, I probably should. The whole front of the shocks are sandblasted. Actually, that truck is going to be on display up there at Overland Expo, and I hope that people crawl up underneath it and see the damage that's underneath that truck. Because we put that truck through its limits, we put it through the boundaries, we tested all the boundaries, we pushed all the boundaries on that thing. So it's amazing. So I'll walk you on from here, we'll head out the back, and we'll head over next door into shipping and receiving.
Cool.
So this is shipping and receiving over here. So this was our third building, and we knew that we needed to try to have a place to build inventory. I will tell you this, it's been very hard to build inventory because as we grow, it's hard to even predict on what our growth is going to be. I mean, last year we had over 30% growth. This year we're on pace to have over 40% growth. But the thing is keeping up with what we're doing on our machines and keeping up with production. We are on a production schedule now, so it has helped. We're down to a couple weeks of production time now, but we're trying to really learn as we go to how to see it better. Now I'm gonna walk you guys through here. The thing I'm gonna tell you is everything on the shelves in here is
pre-sold.
It's
gone.
all sold.
Yeah.
It's a matter of getting in the box quick enough and still not overstaffing. Where you still are able to stay in business. Sure, could we hire more people? But at that point, you have all the overhead, and then we can't afford to stay in business.
You can't get the product out.
So this is afternoon orders that'll go out. Morning orders have already gone out, so this will be afternoon orders. And then later today, I'll start into here and over on the other side, and that'll be orders for every day. We ship about 300 kits a day. So, and then you can see all the lifts here on the shelf. They're all for different configurations. That's one thing that really, I'll tell you, separates our lift from a lot of the other lifts out there. There's a lot of company makes lifts. And there's a lot of company makes spacer lifts. And then there's a lot of companies now starting to make preload collars. But they do a standard preload collar that fits across the line in all their products. And this one fits all of them. But if you put one of these vehicles on the scale, they don't all weigh the same. So they all can't have the same amount of preload on the spring. So we set them up so they have the right amount of preload each and every time with each of the different models. The other thing is we want to make sure that when we're doing these lifts in the truck, it isn't compromising the suspension at all from the factory. We want to make sure at full compression, it bumps out of the bump stop the way it's designed, and we want to make sure that at full extension, it's not overextending the axles or any of the parts that go along with it. So everything stays within specifications of what we designed it to make sure that it's not going to be causing premature failure or wear on the parts that are on the vehicle.
And this was something that was a learning curve for me because I'm not an off-road expert. I don't make stuff. I'm just a dad that started a nonprofit, and I started getting into off-road builds. These preload collars really let you get that lifted look, get that lifted appearance, and maintain the factory without having to go into like a full, crazy, huge kit,
expensive suspension.
Yeah.
You know, I see all the time on social media, guys be like, oh, how do you compare your Westcott lift to the King shocks that you just replaced it on?
Yeah.
I mean, that's like telling me, hey, how do you compare your Pinto to the Ferrari? And I'm not saying that calling Westcott's on the Pinto level, but what I am saying is like, King is designed for race trucks. It's designed to be used at the level it's used at. It's not Westcott's lift that's the weak point. It's the valving that's designed in the factory shocks.
Yeah.
It's not designed the same way. The same amount of money is not put into that strut that's put into that coilover.
Yeah.
But then Toyota's doing this for a reason. They can't mass produce something at a price point that they do if they're putting stuff in that's in King level every single time. It just doesn't mathematically make sense. So what we've done is we've designed a part that goes on the vehicle that works in the factory suspension, that makes the factory suspension work the best that it possibly can without compromising it. And that's really, at the end of the day,
cool.
That's it. And some guys just spent 60 grand on his Tundra.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to go out and spend another 5 grand right now for a lift. He wants to spend $500 on a lift from Westcott, knowing that that Westcott lift is going to hold up to when he decides that, hey, I am ready to make that jump now and buy that suspension. Or hey, guess what? I realize I'm not off-roading as much as I thought I was going to. I'm glad that I didn't make that move.
Don't need the King shocks, totally.
Exactly. So this is our table here for assembly for our hitch mount racks. And then here are the lifts as they come over from the CNC shop over to here. We stack them like this. They go through another inspection. Some of these get sent off for anodizing. Some of them don't. People, it's like a 50-50 now for people for that stuff. Everything in the middle here is all roof racks. Everything on the other side of this aisle is all roof racks. And then here's the crazy thing, and I'll give you, this will make it put into perspective for you. So this was our CNC shop up here, but we outgrew it, we outpowered it. So now this is for local pickup. So everything that's in here, that's on the floor has tags on it, all on the walls, everything.
Right here in Phoenix, right?
Yeah, so this is all local pickup.
Yep.
This is either for other shops in town, other customers in town. Some of it is for installs for customers that are coming in to have it installed, but everything in here is sold. And I can tell you this, we do the least amount of business in the state, in here, in town, as we do outsourcing.
That's awesome.
We have so many dealers, and now we're going overseas, like we're Dubai, we're selling to Japan, we're selling to South Africa, we're selling to Australia, I mean, just now Canada, just so many of the different countries we are now shipping to, which is amazing. I wish we would get more stuff set up over there, or maybe even distributorship over in those areas to help us along. But that really is really, as we continue to grow, I think our growth has been for 2 reasons. 1, because of what we stand for, and 2, because people that are out there in the marketplace are now learning about us and learn what we stand for and what we're built on. And that's what making people say, you know what, this company has shown itself, this company has done a great job, this company continues to build better products. And not that since we started 6 years ago, our quality hasn't gone down, our quality has continued to climb, and that's what it's built on. And the reason I would say that over other companies is because I look at other companies' stuff, and I look at how their quality has actually dropped off. And I think as a company like us, I think it would be great to see other companies be like, you know what, I love what they're doing, we need to run with them.
Well,
that's
the free market, you know,
it
raises the bar for everybody. Everybody, rising tides raise all ships, but you know, you're elevating the off-road parts, you know, industry basically, and you know, hopefully everybody follows along or they'll get left behind.
So yeah, now let's do this. I'll walk you out of this building, and the nice thing is this is attached to powder coat.
Cool.
So it comes right from powder coat into here, right into the box after inspection, and right out the door. So,
you know, looking at these, it made me realize our use case. So we have the Tacoma Trail Hunter that you sponsored the preload collar lift on. And I mean, that's the opposite use case, which is it comes from the factory with a 6 shock. The old man Emu is great. You wouldn't want to change it. You already paid for that in the upgraded Trail Hunter package.
For sure.
But you want to fit the 35s, you want to be able to get your bigger tires on there. That's what the preload's there for, right? That's the whole concept of it.
So the business started around that rear hitch rack that we did, the modular one that I showed you up in the showroom. And then the other part that I had started on was the TRD Pro lift kits.
Yeah,
literally,
it's a great shock. You don't want to change it.
It's great. Why get rid of something that's good? It came. You paid extra to have that and get the truck that it's on.
You just want a little lift.
Just want to put a little bit of guitar on it. Want a little more ground clearance.
There you go. So, I mean, it's such a cool concept. I mean, like, and this is what I'm learning as I'm going into this. And I think what's great about the way you do stuff like this and you put up all these educational videos is that like guys like me who don't really know this world and don't know a lot, They can learn, they can figure out the stuff, they can figure out why you're doing it, when you need this, when you need that, and you're teaching people because, frankly, a lot of us consumers, we just don't know.
I want to just, for me, and I tell the guys here, I said, I just want to educate customers.
Yeah.
I don't want to sell them the product.
Yeah.
I want to educate them and let them, when I educate them, to take their own educated decision on maybe our stuff is right for them, maybe it's not right for them.
Yep.
But then they can take and make their own decision on moving forward and stuff like that. All I want to do is have people have a better understanding of why we do what we do and why it is the way it is and how it works and stuff like that. And there again, you as a consumer, you decide what's best for your needs.
Yep.
Let us build the part knowing that it's going to keep you safe and that it's going to outlast your vehicle, but you then make the decision.
Well, it's so wild because I was researching a GMC build recently that we were thinking about doing, a Yukon, and I'm literally, it had the air ride suspension on it, and I literally typed in like GMC air ride suspension lift and like just trying to find out about it, learn about it. Should I do it? Should I not do it? First thing that pops up, your video. I'm like, there he is. There's Westcott, and it's just it was a walk around video. It was showing like how to do it. I'm like, I can't even get away from this guy if I try.
And then I was like, after we did that, I realized how complicated that whole setup could be for a consumer. Yeah, or even for a dealer.
Yeah,
and especially in today's world with things that happen in the dealers and things that I think that sometimes they don't want to get involved in.
Yeah,
I realized then, as much as I wanted to come out with that product, I realized it was just best not to come out of that product because I didn't want to complicate things for the consumer, and then they act like it comes back on me and it's my fault. And it's not at the end of the day, but I just decided it was just best to leave that one untouched and move on to something else.
But it's that education though that you're talking about. You're going on there, you're giving these little YouTube tours, you're telling people like why it works, how it works, like it tricks the air ride suspension into, I'm like, wow, okay, I didn't know that anywhere else. The only place I could find on the internet, you.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, no, it's great. And then here, this is one of my favorite things. These are scales.
Oh.
So it knows how many bolts are actually in here.
Oh, that's awesome.
And the other nice thing about it is, as we start to run low, these guys don't need to remember to order them. The company that actually provides them for us gets a message automatically telling them what bolt we're out of or low on, and they know kind of at the rate that we go through them because of how the scales show every single day. It has a monitoring system, and so then next thing we know, we got bolts. We're never out of bolts.
Well, so I'm a sciencey guy, so chemistry, there's a thing called a rate-limiting enzyme when you're doing chemistry reactions. The rate-limiting enzyme, without that, you can't continue on with it. Something like this could be a rate-limiting enzyme because you're building this rack or whatever, and like you don't have the washers or the bolts. It's like everything stops.
Yeah, it's true. It's like you have all these parts, but you're missing one part.
Yep.
So now you don't have a complete assembly.
Yep. Rate limiting enzyme.
It doesn't matter. That's it. So. Yep. And as you can see, the rock sliders over here.
Yep.
And you can see a dealer order there getting put together.
Yep.
You can see 68 of 152 boxes is where that's at that we're getting to.
Dang.
And you can see here, this stuff is all working out the back door. Yep. It works its way to the back door. So he's doing inspection, he's doing some touch up, just some light touch up, and we do is a lot of times we'll even take a light and check stuff with light just to see if there's any shading, light areas, dark areas, stuff like that. But all these will eventually work their way out the back with everything. So
awesome.
These are all boxes getting shipped as well over here. So here's powder coat over here. And you can see these are the roof racks that were brought in today for spray. And this will go through the shop today, and the rest of the assemblies will get done over there, and then they'll make their way out the door. So everything comes in the back door, starts here, goes through the sandblast booth, through the smaller parts booth. There's part stripping over there if we have to, and then it works its way up through powder coat through the spray booths, and then up into the ovens. So
that's so cool.
Typically we do primer coat in one and spray in the other. Or sometimes we'll do primer in both and then spray again. We'll primer everything at the same time. And there's another step. We primer coat all of our steel parts with an etching primer. And the reason we do that is just to give them that much more protection in some of the weathered areas. Some people might say, my rock slider's got a chip in them or this or that. And sometimes I have to say, hey, don't crawl underneath your car and look at the chips that are probably on the frame and on the control arms and stuff like that. But we try to sandblast them to give them that extra nice surface so we can, when we put the bonding area for the primer coat, and you can see once they sit out here and they're in the cooling process, they'll then go back over into shipping and receiving. They'll get inspected when they get over there. And sometimes they may come back over for touch-up over here, or maybe it's small touch-up and maybe it happens that maybe they don't need any touch-up.
And so I didn't know this, but this is unique that you have in-house powder coating, because a lot of manufacturers and people who make sliders and racks, they make it, they do whatever, but then they send it out for powder coating, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We realized that we had to control that too.
Yeah.
We had to. We wanted to make sure that it was at the level that we were looking for. I mean, there's many times that I would run over to powder coat, pick something up, and I would say, hey, this isn't up to our level. Or something we get shipped out to a customer. And maybe when the customer got it after a year or so, that maybe the surface wasn't the way it should have held out. Yep. And so we now control all that, and we've done it now for the last couple of years.
Awesome.
It's made a big difference.
So cool.
So,
all right.
Yeah, so this is powder coat, and our install shop, this was our install shop when we moved out of that main building. You can see where all the lifts were over here.
Oh yeah.
You can see where the tires were against the wall and the racks, but this is our second building we got into. So we've had, if you've seen, as we've moved around, we've had to make a lot of adjustments with moving, but we try to make the company so it flows better and production rates times go down, and we're able to do what we do at a faster rate, but still keep the quality.
It's awesome. And yeah, I mean, from a consumer standpoint too, it's like, I don't know what other companies do, I don't know what other brands do, but they don't let you see. There's no transparency to that process. You invite people out to Rigs and Roast, you let them see all this, you give tours, you're here giving us a YouTube tour, letting people see behind the curtain. Like, this is how we do it. I'm proud of it. I have nothing to hide.
There's nothing to hide. Yeah. And that's the thing for us. Super transparent.
Yeah.
I just want people to be able to come in here at any time and say, hey, could you show me around your shop? And I'd be more than happy to. That's my favorite part of my day. Yeah. Is to actually take people around and show them
I'm glad
around.
I got to be a favorite part of your day.
Well, it is. Because now it makes us feel like they got to be a part of it, and they got to see what really the heart and soul and what makes Westcott what it is.
I love it. Super cool.
Again, thanks, Steve.
Hey, man. Thank you for showing us around. Thanks for making amazing parts. Thanks for giving people jobs here in America, and thank you for supporting our nonprofit. All this stuff is getting turned around to make an impact, turning into donations, turning into research, turning into hopefully saving eyesight for kids. So who knew that, making, awesome off-road parts would help save kids' eyesight? I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, well, hey. And Jessica and I, we try every month to give back to the community one way or another.
Yeah, you do.
And it means a lot to us.
Yeah.
Like I said, at the end of the day, it's not about how much money you're making. It's about doing something and feeling good about doing something for somebody to help somebody.
Well, we appreciate it. Check out Westcott Designs. You guys have seen the process. You know that they make amazing products. So they supported us. If you can, if you're thinking about parts, anything, support them. That's how all this works.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks, Steve, for taking the time to walk to the shop.
Awesome. Loved it.